So Republicans tried an absolutely insane trick to get Trump's border wall. Now, he, of course, is trying to do this through a national emergency declaration, which is insanely unconstitutional. But, you know, if he just announces he's going to do it that way and then it takes years to get through the court system, maybe in his mind he thinks like, oh, we'll start building it as they're, debating the merits of this. So the Senate wants to lend a helping hand to Daddy Trump. So what they did is they crafted legislation. I think Mike Lee did it, Republican Senator Mike Lee. They crafted legislation to limit the power of future presidents to declare national emergencies while allowing Trump to declare one right now. I mean, it's honestly just laughable, like what they're doing here. It's beyond laughable because the whole problem here is Trump wants to do something without the approval of Congress, and Congress has the power of the purse. So they get to determine, hey, where are we going to spend money? How are we going to spend money? We have to figure that out. Now, the Senate is saying, oh, yeah, totally. Like, Congress obviously has the power of the purse, man. It's in the Constitution. So whatever you do, it obviously has to go through the House of Representatives. I mean, obviously. Except this one thing that Donald Trump is trying to do right now, in which case, what we're going to do is create legislation that says, go ahead, you do your thing with the wall, but then let's all the future presidents after that, yeah, totally, then power of the purse, bro. You gotta care about the power of the purse, bro. Totally power of the purse, bro. It's hilarious. Now, thankfully, that attempt failed. But now they're faced with what is effectively the ultimate conundrum for them. I'm talking, of course, about Senate Republicans. They have to vote on whether or not to overturn Trump's emergency declaration. So the first move was, let's just craft legislation that says, okay, you can do the wall, but every other president needs to fucking power the purse. You got to make sure you can't do a random willy-nilly national emergency to do whatever you want. So since that didn't work, now it's, okay, we're going to have to vote on whether or not we want to overturn his emergency declaration. So think about this. Think about the conundrum that they're put in. Now, is it really a conundrum? No. If you give a shit about the country and if you're a reasonable person, of course it's not a conundrum. But to them it is. Why? They're given a choice between, okay, it's Donald Trump or the Constitution. Donald Trump, or what you say your principles are, because you say you believe in small government, you do not believe in a strong unitary executive that gets to do whatever he or she wants. You believe in, the small government, so that person who is president can get reined in by the people. So that's what they're being presented with. Now, here's why it's a conundrum to them. Number one, the wall is super popular among their base. Number two, Donald Trump is beyond super popular among the Republican base. To this day, it's like 90% approval rating for Donald Trump. So basically, if you go against Donald Trump's wall, you might be able to argue it's career suicide. Because any up-and-coming Republican who wants to primary these Republican senators, they'll just hammer them all day and night on the campaign trail. You didn't support the wall. You didn't support Donald Trump. You said you supported a wall. Then you voted against a wall. How could you possibly do that? That was so wrong. If I was there, I would have supported the wall. I would have supported our president. How dare you? Everybody loves our president in our, in the Republican base, yet you're against it. So they have this weird position that they're in. Now, if they decide to be principled and go against Donald Trump, again, then they probably can get voted out pretty easy. But if they vote with Donald Trump, they're saying the Constitution doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that, a president can't do this on his own. It doesn't matter that Congress has the power of the purse. We're just going to give that up in this instance. And by the way, it's also so short-sighted because you're setting a precedent here. And the precedent is, a president can willy-nilly declare a national emergency. So President Bernie Sanders could say, climate change is a national emergency. We're going to do the Green New Deal and not go through Congress. 32 to 45,000 Americans dying every year because they don't have access to basic health care. That's an emergency. So we're just going to do Medicare for all. We're not going to go through Congress. You want to set that precedent? Okay. I mean, listen, if you really want to do it, okay, because then a lot of left presidents are going to be able to get a lot of what they want. So, but what will likely happen is there will be enough Republican defectors to slap down Trump's national emergency. There will be enough. There will probably be like 5 or 7. Most of the Republicans will go right along with Daddy Trump, but then like 5 to 7, well, maybe 10 at most, will be like, we can't do this. So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But either way, I think it dies in the courts because no court can say, "Oh yeah, you're allowed to do this, no problem." So, but to be fair to Trump, this is exactly what his base wanted. So I found it hilarious when Ann Coulter was like going after Trump the other week. It's like he finally agreed to do the thing that you have told him to do for months, and then he does it, and you're like, "Oh, what a fraud." Okay, then you're a fraud, because that's exactly what you've been telling him to do. So I find it kind of funny. But anyway, I think ultimately this will die one way or another. But the Republicans are in an absolutely hilarious position. And listen, they asked for it. They asked for it. They've been courting the most insane people in the country for the longest time. And now they're put in a position where it's either the principles they say they have or Daddy Trump. Most of them are going to go with Daddy Trump.